Yawn. Yawn. Man, that was just too easy. It was too easy of a series for your fighting Phils. They sweep out the St. Louis Cardinals. Full 3 games. Last night, absolute blowout. Home runs galore. Zack Wheeler was absolutely fantastic. And then today, not much offense. You score 3 runs. Nola was really good. Really, really good today. Another 7-inning performance from him, Zack Wheeler, with 7 innings and 10-plus strikeouts. It was amazing. It was fantastic, and that's what you should be doing against a caliber team like the St. Louis Cardinals, because breaking news to everybody, the Cardinals are bad. The Cardinals are kind of bad. Not gonna lie. I am not going to lie at all. They're kind of bad. They stink. They suck. And the Phillies, they just sweeped out the business today. Get that trash out of Citizens Bank Park. And that is a nice 3-game sweep for your boys as they keep on rolling. Team's grooving. The home runs keep coming. They just broke their franchise record for most home runs in a month. They're like almost at 50 at this point. I believe they had 48, 49 last day. They probably have 49 after today because, Kyle Schwarber with a nice leadoff bomb. That was nice to see. First pitch, lefty, dead center field. That ball was nuked. Nuked, I say. Then you look at yesterday's game. Bryce and Stott, Nick Castellanos, Brandon Marsh. Bryce Harper continues to be scorching hot. No home runs, but, getting base hits, getting on base, showing that Bryce Harper aggressiveness, driving in runs, working the count, and working walks. Bryce Harper's on a tear, man. Doesn't just have to be the home runs. You could just tell that he looks different at the plate. With the way, it's just his demeanor. Schwarber's getting hot too. He's had a good amount of hits in this series. So if you have a hot Bryce Harper, Trey Turner rolling, playing like he typically would, Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot doing his thing, Nick Castellanos chipping in now and then, Bryson Stott, Alec Bohm, Brandon Marsh continue to do their thing. Maybe JT decides to wake up. It's a scary lineup, man. It's a scary lineup for any team that you face in the postseason. When all these guys are rolling. All of them, I mean. But specifically, when your top guys, the guys that are getting paid to do the hitting, when those guys are clicking, oh boy, is this team hard to beat. Especially when you get performances like that from Zack Wheeler and Aaron Nola these past 2 days. Even Christopher Sanchez on Friday. We did the Friday recap. We talked about how good Christopher Sanchez was, but still. And here's a stat that we found out yesterday that honestly I didn't know. Nationally televised game, they bring out all these weird stats. Surprisingly, the Phillies are the only team, their starting rotation, it's the only starting rotation in baseball since the All-Star break to average 6 innings per game. 6 innings per outing since the All-Star break. They're the only team to do that since. That's some good stuff. You're getting leverage from your starting rotation. You're not forcing yourself to use the bullpen as much. You're saving their arms, especially that's huge, for guys like Jose Alvarado, for guys like Craig Kimbrell, for Sir Anthony Dominguez, for Gregory Soto, for a lot of these guys in the bullpen. That back end of the bullpen is really important. And when you can save as, many games on their arm as possible, it's some good stuff. It's some really good stuff. So, hey, nice series sweep. Nothing more you can ask for. Now you got the Angels coming into town this week. Mike Trout's still hurt. Shohei Ohtani's not going to be pitching. He's just going to be DHing. He's still dangerous in the batter's box, but still, he's not going to be pitching. The Angels are a very beatable team. Very, very, very beatable. They're not as bad as, this Cardinals team that came into town. They're not a good team either. So, take care of business. 2 of 3. Name of the game. And continue this rolling here. Because after, this Angels stretch, these next 3 games, the schedule does get a little bit more difficult. Because you're going to be seeing the Milwaukee Brewers next weekend, where I believe they just won 8 in a row. So that team is scorching hot. we won't know what's going to be their record-wise going into the weekend series. Who knows? They could lose 2 in a row. They can get swept. They can also win a series or sweep that series and make it like 11 wins in a row coming into that series against Philly. But hey, just keep taking care of business. That's all you got to do. Get your separation from the guys in the wild card spot because I'm not worried about any of those teams. San Francisco keeps losing. The Cubs, they'll do their thing. I feel like their focus is more on the division than not. The Diamondbacks have been playing a lot better as of late, but I'm not scared of the Diamondbacks. The Reds, they're too young. I don't think they're going to make it. Honestly, I believe if I'm looking at these wild card spots, Phillies obviously will make the first wild card spot. I think the Cubs are going to finish in the second. I think the Diamondbacks are going to finish in the third. And the Giants and the Reds fall out of the playoffs because that's how little I believe in those teams. My honest opinion. So that would mean a Phillies-Cubs wild card series in Citizens Bank Park. So hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Take care of business. That's all that matters. That's the name of the game. 2 of 3. 2 of 3, 2 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 4 maybe. That's all you can do from there. But a nice series sweep always feels good. So let's go to last night's game. Look at the lineup. All the home runs that were hit. 12-1 victory. As you can tell, the Cardinals' offense is not good. It's not good at all. They had, like 5-6 hits? Or 5-6 hits on Friday's game. They had 3 hits last night. One of those was the only run, which was a home run. And then today, they only had 2 hits. 1 in the first inning and 1 in the 9th inning. So from there, Nola was just smooth sailing. The only base runner that he allowed was a walk in between those. So that's how good Nola was going. In the first inning as well, even though I said I was going to talk about last night's ball game, but for today's ball game, Nola allows the leadoff double to Tommy Edman, but then Trey Turner makes a fantastic play to get him out at second base, making a nice catch at shortstop, catching him off guard, and makes a nice throw to get the double play there. So Trey Turner doing the business, which is really good to see. But going back to last night's ball game, looking at the offense, Kyle Schwarber was 1 for 2 with 2 walks. Trey Turner 2 for 4 with an RBI. Bryce Harper 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. Nick Castellanos 2 for 5, 3 RBIs there. Bryson Stott 2 for 4 with a solo shot. Alec Boehm was 0 for 2, but he had a walk and I believe a sacrifice. JT Realmuto had a walk. He was over 3. Brandon Marsh 2 for 4 with a 3-run shot. And Jake Cave over 2 with 2 walks. 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Pitching-wise, Zack Wheeler was just flat-out fantastic. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts on 80 pitches. He probably would have gone the distance if that's between the 7th and the 8th inning wasn't so long, because in that bottom of the 7th inning, you get the Nick Castellanos home run. The Cardinals changed pitchers a few times. Brandon Marsh hits a home run. Rob Thompson tried to bring him back out for the 8th inning, but then he allowed a hit. So he just like, okay, the velocity dipped in between those innings. Let's just take him out and not have to worry about anything else. Don't need to put more leverage on that arm. But Zack Wheeler was just flat out fantastic. He had no-hit stuff. I honestly thought he was going to do something with that. 98, 99 on the fastball consistently. It barely dropped throughout the game. The only time, like I said, where it did drastically drop was in between that 7th and the 8th inning because of how long that bottom of the 7th took. But Zack Wheeler was just on a roll. He was so good last night. So good. Bullpen comes in. Soto only needs 8 pitches, and Dylan Covey finishes the job to close the game out. Home runs by Stott, Castellanos, and Brandon Marsh. Boy. Don't you love it when Bryson Stott goes deep? I don't know. His swing just looks majestic when he goes deep. And also for Nick Castellanos, the meme continues. The living legend continues. Rest in peace, Bob Barker from The Price is Right. That was just cueing for Nick Castellanos to go deep. We all know the joke. When something bad happens, Nick Castellanos hits a home run. He did it last night. It was just a matter of time. And we go to the day's ball game. Lineup-wise, like I said, you scored 3 runs. You had 11 hits. You were 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position, so definitely wasn't expecting the offense to go major balls out like they did last night, even though the guy coming in was, a fairly new pitcher, had a very high ERA, but the Cardinals still aren't bad. You can beat this team even when scoring very few runs, and that's exactly what you did. Kyle Schwarber 1 for 4 with a solo shot to lead off the game. Trey Turner 1 for 3. Nick Castellanos 1 for 4. Bryce Harper 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. Alec Bohm 0 for 4. JT 2 for 4. Bryson Stott 1 for 4. Sosa 1 for 4. And Johan Rojas 3 for 3. First time in the lineup for a little bit against the lefty. He was perfect today. He was perfect. So that was some fantastic stuff. Aaron Nola, 7 innings, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts on 95 pitches. So that's back-to-back really good starts for Aaron Nola. So if we can get this version of Aaron Nola down the stretch, especially in September, same thing with Zack Wheeler with the way he looked, this rotation is scary, especially that 1-2. And Rob Thompson did say, going into the wild card series, Aaron Nola and Zack Wheeler are going to be Game 1 and Game 2 starters, regardless of how much rest the rotation has at that point. So say if it's the final week of the year, the Phillies already clinched their wild card spot, I would assume he gives Nola and Wheeler some rest going into that, so they could be perfectly rested for the wild card series. But yeah, if you can get Zack Wheeler looking like that, where he's constantly clocking 98, 99 miles an hour, because we've rarely seen that from Zack Wheeler this year. Who knows? Maybe there is something to the, he prefers to have the 5-day rest instead of the extra day of rest. Maybe there's something to that. Even though he struggled against the Nationals, his last outing, where he allowed 4 runs in the first, but then he really settled down after that. But today was dominant. I mean, not today, last night. Last night was dominant. It was really nice to see. Also, something to the Fox broadcast from last night. How many painful memories do they need to bring up? Obviously, with the World Series from last year, showing the Astros winning it. But then you got to show the stats from 2011 Game 5 NLDS against the Cardinals. Roy Halladay against Matt Carpenter. It was a pitcher's duel. Roy Halladay just happened to make the only mistake that was in the first inning. You have to show that painful memory. And then they were also talking about, during the guy that hit the home run for the Cardinals, it was his first major league shot, where he says that, do Philadelphia fans just bring their own balls to the ballpark, and then when they catch a home run, they throw the fake ball out on the field? What? It's just stupid shit from the Fox broadcast. That's all. John Smoltz and everything like that. Ay. But let's look at this next series upcoming with the Los Angeles Angels. Probably should call them the Anaheim Angels because that's what they should be named. But we'll digress from that. But this series, it's going to be Taijuan Walker going up against Lucas Giolito. Lucas Giolito, he is 7-10 with a 4.32 ERA, a 1.27 WHIP. He has not been good since being traded over to the Angels. Has not been good. Basically, looking at his 5 starts with the Angels, 3 earned runs in his first start, 9 earned runs in his second, 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 1 earned run, but 4 runs, but 3 of those were unearned. Still, he has not been good with the Angels. He has not been good in the month of August. Continue to take advantage of that. I know he dominated you earlier in the year in Chicago, almost threw a no-hitter, but it doesn't matter now. Completely different way with the offense is swinging right now. Then you're going to have Michael Lorenzen going up against his former team, and he is going to be facing Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson is 5-5 with a 5.35 ERA. Has not been good this year. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. And then it's going to be Christopher Sanchez going up against Reed Detmers. He is 3-10 with a 5.03 ERA. He has not been good this year either. Los Angeles Angels, they do not have good pitching. They got Shohei Ohtani. Mike Trout's injured, though, so basically their only worrywart is Ohtani. That's basically it. And then you're going to have that Milwaukee Brewers series after the off day on Thursday. It's going to be Zack Wheeler, Aaron Nola, and Taijuan Walker, that series. You're not going to be facing Corbin Burns. You're not going to be facing him. You're going to be facing Peralta, who has been good this season, Freddie Peralta. Then you're also going to be facing Adrian Hauser and Wade Miley. You'll be facing those 3 guys. And then it's on to the San Diego Padres the next week. After that for Labor Day and all of that. And then you come home against the Marlins and the Braves. You go against the Cardinals and the Braves again. And then you basically getting down towards the later stretch of the year. So if we're looking at this month of September, the toughest series that you're going to be playing is against Milwaukee, I would say San Diego just because you're going to the West Coast. It's always tough when you go out to the West Coast, but still, San Diego's not a good team. But your toughest series overall, I would say, are the road series in Milwaukee, the 4-game home series against Atlanta, and the 3-game series on the road in Atlanta. Because in between those, like I said, it's the Padres, the Marlins at home, the last time you're seeing that team, the Cardinals on the road, so you're going to be seeing that trash again. Then you're going to have 7 games to close out the year against the Mets, 4 at home and 3 in New York, and then you're going to have a 3-game series at home against the Pirates. I know we lost a series of the Pirates earlier this year, but let's see how this team plays in September. Let's see, because I do believe good things are brewing for September for this Phillies team. I just have that feeling. I have that feeling with the way they've been clicking lately. Let's go to the wildcard standings. See how everything is shaping up. Phillies on a nice 3-game winning streak, 7-3 in their last 10. They've won 5 out of their last 6. They're 72-58. Always nice to see there. Always nice to see. That's 14 games, I believe, above 500. They're 3 games up on the Chicago Cubs, so that's a nice 3-game lead there. They're 4 games up on the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're 4.5 up on the Reds. They're 5.5 up on the Giants, who are getting closer and closer to 500. They're 66-63. The Marlins, they continue, even though they won today, they're still in a bad stretch. In a very bad stretch. They're 3-7 in their last 10. The Marlins, they've just... I was watching their game yesterday before the Phillies, and they were winning in the 9th inning. I believe it was a 2-1 game. David Robertson out there on the mound, and David Robertson does David Robertson things when he gets traded to a contender at the deadline. He absolutely implodes. That's exactly what happened. Even though he kind of did get boned with the umpire on 2 strikes and 2 outs, which made it a full count, and then that very next pitch was the single to tie the game up, but still, David Robertson just doing things, and I think he just lost the closer position for the Marlins, so that's not going well for them. Yeah, then the Padres, they're struggling. They're 3-7 in their last 10, 61-70. So yeah, the Mets, they're 11 games below 500. They're not good. So yeah, just keep taking care of business, boys. That's all you gotta do. That is all you gotta do from there. That's basically it. That's basically it. Before we get to the live feed, I'm going to go to the voicemail line. Look, it's been a long day. My allergies have been bothering me. I can feel it in the back of my throat. So I'm not thinking clearly today. Kind of, rambling, as you can say. But let's go to the Anytime Hotline. Let's see what Sean has to say on this nice series sweep of the Cardinals.
Get the brooms out, boys. Definitely not a Rembrandt or a Picasso performance today offensively. But, the pitching over the last 3 days, to say it was dominant would be an understatement. Aaron Nola pitching a good game, a tight game that Aaron Nola didn't implode in. Oh, my God. And Wheeler the night before was dominant. You did what you had to do in this series. You took care of a lesser team. You went for the jugular and you stepped on their throat and you got a series sweep. Now I think you play the Angels, no Mike Trout, no pitching from Ohtani. As we know, this is the Mickey Moniak, Logan O'Hoppe, welcome back to Philly series. So for that, they'll have capacity crowds in and of itself. But you got to take at least 2 out of 3. Don't worry about the teams in back of you in the wild card standings. If you focus on the task at hand and keep stacking wins, everything will take care of itself. Good job by the Phillies for the entire 3-game series.
Exactly there, Sean. To go to your point about Logan O'Hoppe and Mickey, I don't think Logan O'Hoppe has played since the beginning of the year. I don't think that's... But I think he got injured. He got a major injury, and I think he was out I think he's out the entire year, unless he just came back. I'm not entirely sure there for the Angels. I should probably go look at that. To see their past couple of games to see what the lineup looks like for them. If I look at their lineup, no, it does not look like it at all in this game, at least against the Mets. Look at their last few games to see what the case is there. Let's look. Okay, he is back. Okay, I never noticed that. Logan O'Hoppe, he was off to a very hot start, but I guess since coming back from the injury, he came back down to earth. .234 average, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. I'm assuming he just came back. if that's the case. Let me see his game log. So when did he come back from the injury? Okay, he came back in the middle of August. He went down on April 20th, and then he came back the 18th. Okay. Looking at Mickey Moniak, let's see how his season's going. He's having a pretty solid year. 277 average, 13 home runs, 40 RBI, 800 OPS. Solid stuff for Moniak. Solid stuff. We get Brandon Marsh, they get Moniak. Those guys rejuvenate themselves on the other franchises. Even though I think Moniak was the deal for Syndergaard, if I'm not mistaken, and Ohapi was the deal for Marsh. So, hey, Moniak found a way to get playing time there, and he found his groove. And Marsh, I love Brandon Marsh. Who doesn't love Brandon Marsh? Who doesn't? And then, of course, Shohei Ohtani has been absolutely sensational this season. Sadly, he's never going to pitch the rest of the year with the UCL tear that he had. And that's definitely going to affect his free agency class because most likely I would assume he's getting Tommy John surgery. But Shohei has been dominant this year. 305 average, 44 home runs, 92 RBI, and a 1075 OPS, most likely just running away with the MVP this year in the American League. He's just been that good. He's just been that good. I don't know how people don't vote for him for the MVP. I don't see that at all. But he's been absolutely good, man. He's been absolutely good. It just sucks that you won't be able to see him pitching. Like, that's something that you won't be able to get to see. And that's kind of sucks. It kind of does, because I wanted to see Ohtani pitch in person. But you won't be seeing Mike Trout because he's injured again. So basically, the stadium's still going to be packed regardless because of all the people that want to come and see Ohtani. So that's definitely going to be the reason why, even though Citizens Bank Park this year has been having fantastic crowds, the fans are coming and all that stuff. So you're playing meaningful baseball in the month of September. Fans are going to show up, and especially you have majority home games in September. So that's really good to see there. And Citizens Bank Park's going to be packed for all of those series. This series against the Angels, Marlins, Braves, especially the Mets, and especially the Braves too. So yeah, it's shaping up to be a really fun September, a really meaningful September, and you control your own destiny at this point. You got some nice separation with the wildcard teams, and do exactly what Sean said. Don't even worry about them. Control your own games. Focus on your own stuff. Go out and look at the series that are in front of you and just win 2 out of 3. You're going to lose a series every now and then. What team doesn't? But right now, you're still not playing a good team in the Angels. Really, their only threat is Ohtani. Take care of business. Take care of business. Win 2 of 3. That's all you got to do. Then you can focus on the Brewers team who has been scorching hot. Then you go into the month of September. Take care of business here. Take care of business here. That's all you can do from this point. But still, fantastic series. Let's go to the chat here before we end it off today. Austin, how you doing? Very happy for Nola finding his stride today. I watched this post-game interview as well, and he seems pretty set for the postseason as long as he keeps his head up and pitches down. Exactly. Exactly. We get this version of Aaron Nola in September. Oh boy. Oh boy. I will take back everything I said about him this year if he keeps this up for September. If he keeps this up, because his next outing is going to be against the Brewers, and that's going to be a big series. Julian C., keep going. Angels are terrible, and then September, only the Braves and the Brewers are the good that month. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. The rest of our schedule looks pretty comfortable. We can make it to the playoffs with a 500 baseball. Just don't drop silly games again to the Padres, and especially not the neutered Angels and the Pirates. First sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals at home since 2003. Wow, I never knew that. I never knew that. That is a hell of a stat. That is. If the Phillies get the 4th seed, they will pound any of these wildcard teams. There's no New York, San Diego, St. Louis teams this year. That's going to be the 5 and the 6 seed. Yeah, I'm not worried about any of these teams in the wildcard spot. Not worried at all. And people say Philly fans are toxic. We support good players no matter the team. Exactly. Exactly. Well, I think that's going to do it for today, everybody. Going to be a quick turnaround. Oh, wow. Noah Syndergaard just got DFA'd by the Guardians. Interesting. I guess the Phillies got whatever was left out of Syndergaard last year, if that's the case, because he was terrible for LA before he got traded. And I guess he was terrible for the Guardians. I guess so. I guess the Phillies just got whatever was left of him. Just doesn't have any more left in the tank. He's just never going to be that flamethrower. He just hasn't been the same since his Tommy John. So, yeah, that's interesting stuff there to end off this stream. So, yep, it's going to do it for tonight, everybody. Thank you for joining as always. Do not forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service with the YouTube algorithm. If you're new, join the family. If you're a current subscriber, definitely recommend it to other people. I appreciate you for it. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Get yourself to some Phillies home games. You also got Eagles right around the corner. This is a great deal. $20 off your first purchase. Use it. Use it.